Hello, everybody out there in the internet. Welcome to Aimless Z, episode 391. I'm Chris Adams, Ticketmaster, joined by.
RPG Maniac 05.
And Trioptical.
So, yeah, today we've got so much been playing. We've got a middle segment about the game that made you the gamer you are now or something, and the news. So,
Why is that so hard?
well, the way you phrased it, Tropical, like the first time you said it, I thought it meant like something from your past, and then like when you said it the second time, you made it sound like
Yeah.
something from the present, and I was like, wait, what? So, whatever. I guess
Well-
we'll get there.
Yeah, I guess we will.
Because anywho, moving on. What you been playing? So yeah, I've been playing one game. It's called, well, I can't think of the jingle for the theme, but Monster Hunter World. Yeah. So that.
No longer robot dinosaurs in the butt.
Yet.
I don't know.
Yet. Because, I mean, the proving came back, so technically
Is it there right now?
Yeah, it is.
it is.
All
'Cause I've seen
units are
people, like, doing it, so someone is stabbing some robot dinosaurs in the butt that have flesh on them again. The flesh robot dinosaurs.
So yeah,
The flesh robot
Spring Blossom
dinosaurs.
Festival. Oh yeah, that happened. I got all my stuff for all my things. So the low rank and the high rank armor and the Palico outfit, butterfly, adorable. And yeah,
It is adorable.
I've just been doing that every day, getting the limited bounties, and then a couple of Valhazogs because you get the double lucky voucher. So it's like, oh, some extras in you on the side. I will take that. Thank you very much. And that's yeah, pretty much what I've been doing.
Oh, man. Did it take a long time?
For what?
No.
For
If you do
just
it every day,
the,
it doesn't take a long time. So
Okay.
you need 3 per piece on the high rank, but you'll need 1 per piece on the low rank, and 1 per piece on the Palico. So, but you have, let's
But
see.
you get, I
think
mean, you
have
can
like
get 5
4
tickets every
Yeah,
day.
you get 5 every day. So 'cause you get 1 for logging
Oh,
in,
man.
and then you get the 3 or the 4 bounties. You get all of the bounties, so that's 5.
So yeah, so it's pretty quick because I mean I got all the armor or all my armor set, the armor set for in like 3 days, and I missed a couple of days because I didn't feel like playing. So
Huh.
Yeah, and then like it's weird because like there's a bounty that was like high rank challenge, and then I kept doing the Nergigante one because I was like, I'm not doing a double Autogarn after that crap. And I did it, and I did it on the first try where I'd been like getting like murdered by Nergigante for like hours and hours. And I was like, why didn't I just do this the first? Why didn't I just do this? It's super
actually,
easy.
the double God armor was probably the easier one anyway. Because like if you pick, I mean I did it with other people, and if we both pick the hammers, they basically spend most of the fight stunned, so they can't even do or
Wow.
most fight like paralyzed. I mean, and they can't even do anything. So.
Well, I didn't have that option because I logged into the squad session and nobody was playing. So I was like, pfft. And I'm not playing with strangers after that crap, dude. I've done my time in Strangerland, so never again. So you know, yeah. So I was like, after that crap, solo specialist in Monster Hunter World. I've enjoyed my time. It's great. It's great. Never going back. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've been playing because I played a bit of Radio Historia, but like not anything substantial. So I can't even. I got to like a part I was supposed to like do something, and then I had like not played in such a long time. I was like, how do I do that? And I was like, oh. And then I was like, okay, well, what do I do? How do I, what? And I was like, yeah, I just fell a sandwich. And yeah. That's where I'm at. Is I'm doing stuff, and I'm picking a route or choice or whatever to do this thing, stick with this guy, and see how things turn out and what happens, and see if I can save the day or not save the day, and then maybe go back later and do it or whatever. So, but still very early. I think I'm still in the prologue too. So yeah, still not even out of the prologue. So yeah.
Oh my. Get it together.
Well, I sort of fell off my plan to get as many games from GameFly as possible because it snowed and I was like, I don't want to go outside. And so my mailbox
Fair
is not
enough.
right outside my house. I have to like walk a distance to get to it. And I was like, I'm just going to finish Bravo Team. Which had this weird issue. I don't know if did I talk about Bravo Team last week?
No.
No.
Okay, so
'Cause
Bravo
I don't know
Team
what it
is a
is.
game that I rented. It is it's a game also supports the aim controller, which is the gun shape one, and you play as a team of two soldiery types. You can play it online co-op, but I played the entire thing single player. And you sort of, it's like I've been describing it as like a wonky time crisis, because the game definitely has issues, and already like the team that made it has given interviews about, or not really, like anonymously has given interviews about what went wrong, which is a fascinating story of like, they're the team that did Until Dawn, and so management is like, everything has to be Until Dawn quality now, so all cinematic feeling and all that. And Bravo team, like, the game only has 4 weapons because they could not figure out how to communicate what made the other weapons that they had designed special without using a HUD. And the call from up high was like, no HUD, it's got to be cinematic. And they ran out of time, and it was just really rough. But I got to a point in the game where I started to have a lot of fun with it. And I think what helped there was, one, I played it on rookie instead of, which is like, there's 3 difficulties. That's easy mode. Because I think the guns feel bad. Like, initially you get this rifle, and it's sort of cool to hold, like, it's still cool in VR to hold up the gun controller and see through the sights and then aim at stuff and shoot at stuff. But it felt really bad in Bravo Team because the sort of hit response wasn't really there, so you didn't know if you were hitting things. The gun itself, the rifle anyway, sounds really weak. And it turns out even if you are hitting them, it takes a bunch of bullets to take them down. And so playing it on easy mode, it takes fewer bullets and the game feels a bit better. But it really got to the point where I got a shotgun, and it was sort of like close quarters, indoors type levels. It was like, oh, now it feels really cool. And like one of the complaints was that the enemy AI is really stupid. They just sort of spawn endlessly and run to the same cover points and just like pop up, and sort of like a whack-a-mole game. Which is, if you think about it, exactly like Time Crisis, right? Except that they don't spawn endlessly in Time Crisis. And so to make the game fun, just don't stay in one place for very long at any time. And then it really feels like Time Crisis. And then with the shotgun, it really feels like Time Crisis because it doesn't take very many shots, and you don't have to be super accurate. And it just got really cool. And I was like, and in my mind, I started thinking, oh, this would be really neat if, they had, instead of made this sort of realistic, like serious tone and story and all that, if they had just made it a bit more over the top and, maybe not have gone for the sort of realistic look and made it more arcadey feeling. And then it would have been like this kind of fun arcade game, even in the state that it's in.
So you basically want Time Crisis.
Yeah, I basically I started thinking what are these things that
actually that would be cool? Time
cheap?
Crisis VR, that would work.
Yeah, I think it would be really cool.
You could lean and pop out, shoot. Oh man, Namco Bandai, get on that.
It would be.
They might already be working on it. You don't know their lives, man.
It's been a long time since the Time Crisis game, dude. Just saying, like a long time, like maybe 10 years, if not more.
What was the last one was on PS2, so yes, it has been a long time. So yeah, I played through it. It actually has multiple endings.
What?
So I played through the last level several different times, doing different things. Like the first time, the ending that I got the first time was not one that I would have chosen myself if I had known that there were choices. But since I was sort of rushing through it and just like blasting everything, the ending was kind of chosen for me. Essentially, it was the ending in which you kill everyone, and I was like, "Oh, I did not know that I had a choice there." So like, okay, I'll go try different ones, and then I went back and I found like they do have a score attack mode, which does make the guns feel better because, in the regular game, when you shoot someone, they don't really seem to flinch or anything. And then when it takes more than a few shots, you start thinking, is the gun even working? Like, is the aim off, or something weird is happening? But in arcade mode, like, big numbers pop off people, and then you get like scores and stuff. And like, okay, it is hitting them. It just takes more bullets than you would think, and the gun still sounds weak. So that's nothing you can do there. But yeah, other than that, I think once it's cheaper, and I've like played through more of my games, so maybe this will never happen. I would pick up Bravo Team. Like, when I told Gamer I was playing it, he said, like, "Oh, that game is terrible." He paid $40 for it, and seemed somewhat upset. And I was like, "I don't know yet. I want to play a little bit." And now that I played through it, I was like, "I think I would play this more. This seems pretty cool." And yeah, I want to see what like online multiplayer is like, because there's parts in the campaign where it says, "Oh, you should split up and take different routes," and one of them was like a stealth section, and I could sort of imagine like, oh, if we both took different routes, then we would be able to like stealth kill everybody all the way through. But since I was like me and I had to like control my AI partner with like hand gestures, it's like there's no way for me to tell them to go over there and like do all these things. So yeah. So I want to see that in online multiplayer. And then also, like, finally there was a complaint about how so you choose when to move from cover to cover, and the way you do it, the default way is you point your gun at the cover you want to move to, and then you push a button, and then it like becomes like it's immersion breaking. So it's all first person until you move cover, and then like it goes third person, and you see like yourself run over to the next cover, and then it goes back to first person, which is probably something they did for like comfort and like motion sickness prevention. And yeah, with that, I found it was quite comfortable to play the game. I later watched footage of me playing the game, and it wasn't as comfortable. So yeah, it's I thought it was like, yeah. I mean, I agree it is immersion breaking, but it works pretty well. The game does have issues, so it has bugs, and like one time I got downed, and so usually when you go down, it cuts to third person and it shows you going down, and you drop a flare to tell your partner where you are, and then for a moment it goes back to first person, and you're just like sitting there and you can't move, but you can still shoot with your pistol. One time it didn't cut away to third person to show me downed. It just moved me a little bit away from my in-game like character body, and I had no head. It was just like the stump of my neck where my head would be. And I was like, that's what I was looking at. And I was like, what is happening?
Sounds pleasant.
Yeah, it was very weird. Because I think that's what they do. Like, so basically, in a lot of VR games, they want to give you a body, so you have body presence. But if you move out of the position that you're seated in and like look at the character model, the body is all there, but usually the head isn't. Because I guess if they modeled a head, one, like you would never see it unless you were doing this, and two, maybe it would have clipping issues with the camera or something. But this one, it was literally in my face. Like, you have no head. That's just the turtleneck goes up and then it wraps around the stump. So, it's not like a bloody stump. It's just like it's like a mannequin neck. It was very strange.
Yay!
Yay! I don't know. So yeah, I finished Bravo Team. Then I went and played Hidden Agenda, which was the PlayLink game made by the people who made... Oh, wait. I think it's the same people. The same people who made...
So,
yeah. They also made Until Dawn and Hidden Agenda. I tried to play it once in multiplayer with some people, and they just like weren't into it. So it was not fun at all. And so this time I decided I'm just going to play through the story and see what happens myself. And even if you're playing single player, you still have to use a smartphone as your controller, which was kind of weird. Uh,
That is kind of weird.
I guess I got a really bad ending because I got to the end and I was like, this was not satisfying in the least. It's supposed to be, I guess, like a sort of crime thriller type story. And you can imagine like what would be a super anticlimactic way to end a story like that.
Bad guy gets away.
You find out nothing and nothing.
Everything was all for
happens.
nothing.
It was like,
It was all for nothing.
oh, this was not cool. I'm definitely gonna have to play this again, but I do want to play it multiplayer. I just don't know like what group of friends I might have here that would be interested in playing this type of story in the way that the game wants you to play it, where it's sort of like almost competitive in a way. Like the title of the game, Hidden Agenda, is basically at certain points in the game where you have to make choices, one player will be given a hidden agenda. Oh, that's why it's called that. To like affect the story in one way or another. And they have to sort of sneakily get everyone to vote in favor of that course of action. Yeah, because like everyone else, you get points or something if you identify who it was who has the hidden agenda. And then there's like power-ups like takeovers, so instead of getting consensus, you can just be like, oh, I'm taking over, and you become, whatever you say goes, and you have a limited number of those, and you win them from getting hidden agendas or like figuring out who has the hidden agenda, and it was like, oh, that seems really cool.
Wait, like I'm not understanding how this game works. So is it like a kind of
So
like
it's like
a quiz
it's
show
like-
kind of thing, or
no, it's like a Telltale game almost. So you're sort of making choices throughout a story. And then, but instead of like Telltale games where it's single player, it's multiplayer. So 4 people decide the course of action that the character takes. And it's like, it's either majority rules or it has to be unanimous. And so like the game is also happening outside of the game where everyone is trying to get everyone to agree on the same course of action. And to sort of add conflict to that, they add these hidden agenda things to make, otherwise if you're in like a like-minded group of friends, everyone probably will choose, we all agree to do this thing and everyone's sort of on the same page. But then with hidden agendas, that's like, ooh, I need to get everyone to do this thing, even though I don't agree with it, but it will get me a thing so that, I don't know, I will win the game in some way.
give an example? Because this just sounds very vague, like this.
Let's see. What's there in the game? Okay, so in the beginning, you are playing as a cop and her partner, and you go into sort of an abduction type situation, and you see the victim is tied to a bed, and you see the guy, the perpetrator, like backing away and maybe going to pull a gun on you. Do you shoot him or do you not shoot him?
Oh, and you have to get everybody to agree to shoot or not shoot?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then, maybe someone's agenda is like, oh, make sure that the perpetrator dies or whatever.
Oh, my.
This is not an actual situation, but make sure he does not escape,
Well, as far as
get
you
out
know,
of
it's
the
not.
situation.
I mean,
As far as I know, that's true. I've only played through it once.
Just like
Um,
make sure everyone murders him.
yeah, I was like, this is a cool concept. I just don't have any. I don't think I have anyone to play it with in this way.
Can you not play it over the interwebs?
Not directly through the game. And actually, I don't know if SharePlay works. I don't think so because the phones all have to be
Your phone. Yeah.
attached through the same Wi-Fi network. So, yeah. Although there's probably some way to spoof it like that, but it is beyond me. Um,
It sounds like that would be interesting.
it's pretty cool. It's just that, and they were smart. The game, I think a playthrough is about 2 hours, so it's like the length of a movie. So if you can get a bunch of people to be like, "Hey, this is like a crime thriller game movie. Do you want to watch that with me?"
Do you want to play watch that with me?
Unfortunately, here would be like, "Nah, nah, that doesn't sound interesting," and I'm like, "Oh." So that's Hidden Agenda. I said that title so many times talking about
Is it
that.
because you have a hidden agenda? Ha ha.
Money, money. No, I do not.
No.
Well, so I saw the end of Kirby Star Allies, and I was only partially part of that. And I also saw the end of Snipper Clips, both Switch games. That was really cool. I will add those to my credits roll collection.
That doesn't count if you're somebody else.
Snipper Clips, I did play most of it. Kirby, I did not, so whatever. But no, I decided to go and check out Gran Turismo Sports Update, which, thinking about it now, I can't remember what it was.
They added
I know
Red Bull cars, a bunch of cars, that one course, the VR time trial thingy.
Okay.
Not sure what else.
I guess I didn't play it yet. Yeah, so I tried the VR time trials a few days ago. That is pretty fun, but really it is just, Gran Turismo time trials, except in VR.
Oh man, if there's a time travel mode and you can be like the DeLorean, oh man,
No.
that would be VR fun times.
But no, I played through it a bit, and it sort of reignited in me that desire to play the game daily because of the daily workout thing. Where if you drive, I think it's like 26 miles a day, they give you a free car, a gift car. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do that. So I realized something about Gran Turismo Sport. The campaign isn't really necessary. And in fact, Gran Turismo Sport feels like even collecting cars is less. That was sort of the point, I feel like, of the previous games, right? And then Sport, it feels like.
Mode.
But wasn't like Gran Turismo 4, it felt like the whole point was to collect cars.
Speak for yourself, Tropical.
Yeah,
Speak for yourself.
maybe? No? Anyway, that's what it felt like. This one feels really more, it's like this is all about the driving. Because after I played the time trial mode, I was delighted to find out that those miles that I drove in VR also counted towards the daily workout. And I was like, oh, this is cool. That means that no matter what mode I play, it adds to the daily workout. And I was like, huh. When the game launched, it did not have a campaign mode. All it had was the driver's license tests, and then it had the sports mode, which is sort of event races that are played online against other people. And now that I've played it, like I've played a few of the campaign races, and it's like it wasn't really for me. I don't know. I wasn't feeling it anymore, and so I just went and played. I went and sat down and I watched the sportsmanship presentations about racing etiquette and stuff, and that was really. Have you seen them?
Yeah, I have.
The first one was like interesting, but also like too wordy for what they actually said.
Well, you have to
It
watch both
basically
of them to
said,
play online, so you don't have a
yeah,
choice.
that's the thing. But the first one was like, why is this a 2 minute, 2.5 minute video when basically it just says it was basically like sportsmanship. Um, well, I guess I didn't pay attention because
I was just about to
the
say, it's
message.
like, well,
But
that's all they have.
basically like the whole thing was. I remember hearing sportsmanship over and over again, but like I remember part of it was just like they explained basically why sportsmanship exists, and it was like, oh, because a sport is there's lots of definitions, but primarily it's a challenge for yourself, and there are rules, but there aren't enough rules to cover everything, and that's why there's sportsmanship. And it was like that for 2.5 minutes. Like, that seemed like I thought these would be more. I don't know, something they were more insightful or something, but it seemed very cursory and just like, yeah, sportsmanship. So I guess that part I remember. I came away from it thinking, okay, yeah, sportsmanship.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, the only thing I really learned from the two videos was if you're about to crash into someone, then you must do everything in your power not to crash into them, including falling off the track if if the situation calls for it. And I was like, wow, I never thought of it that way. Like, usually you think, okay, I'm going to try really hard not to crash into people, but if it's going to be inevitable, then I'm just going to let it happen.
I don't think you're doing this right.
I mean, it's just video cars.
Oh dear.
But then when I saw that, I was like,
begins.
oh man, so like if you're going too fast and you can't make the turn, and then like you're about to, slide out and run into someone, you should instead I guess slam on the brakes and turn in another direction and just like fall off the track completely. Yeah, at all costs, ensure that you do not run into other people. I was like, okay, I'm gonna try that. And I just started playing sport mode, which, if you haven't seen it before, it's really cool. It's not like normal matchmaking in games where you just say start and then it says matchmaking and then it finds some people. It's they have set times that the events start, and there's usually a new event every 20 minutes or something, and they like sort of overlap, so you never have to wait too long. But then before the event starts, so you can enter the event, and then before it starts, you can run qualifying laps to see what your position in the starting lineup will be. And it's like, oh, I like the way this is set up. It feels less like you're just going online and just playing a bunch of races. It feels like you are entering into this event and you're participating in this thing, and it's not like. It just feels very different. I'm like, oh, this is cool. And then it adds to your daily workout, which is what I'm trying to do. So I've played every day for the past 3 days, so not saying a lot. I have yet to not place last place in any race online.
Uh-huh.
It's alright, I haven't won a race yet, so, it's impossible.
I have never even gotten close. I I think one time I was not last place, but that's because the guy like spun out at some point, and I guess just like quit the game, rage quitted, and I was like, oh, cool. I moved up one spot in that race. That's awesome. But it's really fun. More fun, like more fun than I expected. In that, I don't know, not playing the game, I just don't remember how fun it is. And then when I play it, it's like, oh yeah, this is why I like Gran Turismo. And so right now I'm sort of trying to figure out, okay, which games have daily things, like quests that you can do, and how many of them can I realistically play every single day? So for right now, it's Gran Turismo Sport. Fortnite has a thing every day. I suppose Monster Hunter World has one of those too, at least currently.
Yeah, only during the Spring Blossom Fest, though.
That goes till the 16th, I think?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it the... Oh man, the 16th? Well, yeah. And then there was something in Street Fighter. I wanted to play Street Fighter and Injustice 2 all the time.
But
Still trying to figure out the storage situation on my various PS4s.
Wow, Tactical.
Like-
I'm surprised you haven't invested in a external hard drive yet. Seriously.
I do have one. It's a 4 terabyte one.
What?
So
Okay,
here's the
I
thing.
can't help you, Tropical. You have a problem. That's all I'm gonna say. You have a problem. That's your own fault. on
You
that one.
actually can load it up to full. No, what happened was, so I've been using mostly my slim PS4, and I had the 4 terabyte attached to it. But then for a while I was like, I feel like I'm wasting my Pro by not playing it. So I unplugged the 4 terabyte and plugged it into the Pro, and so now it's in the Pro. And then I had like a launch PS4 that's been sitting around because the disk drive is sort of not 100%. Like occasionally it will auto eject a disk by itself, and I was like, ah.
oh, that's weird.
So I haven't been using it, and I decided, you know what? I'm just gonna sell that one. So I was like, okay, so I'm gonna sell this one, and I took it, and I was like, oh wait, but it has a 2 terabyte hard drive inside, which I had put in previously. So I should take that out, put the 500 back in, and then take the 2 terabyte and put it in the Slim. I was like, yeah, because the Slim only has a 500 right now. I was like, okay, so I did the whole thing, and I transferred stuff, and I got everything. I was like, okay, so now the Slim has a 2 terabyte. So now I have the 4 terabyte on the Pro with its 1 terabyte hard drive internal, and then the Slim, which has a 2 terabyte hard drive. And I started realizing, wait, I have a 2 terabyte hard drive right now on the Slim. I can just download some of the games onto there, and then I don't have to move the hard drive around. I can just like have it in both places. But the problem is, if I want to do it that way, then like you can only have the game. If you have an external hard drive, you can only have it on either the external hard drive or on the internal hard drive. So Sport, for example, right now I have it on my Slim internal and on the external that's hooked up to the Pro. So if I ever want to play something else that's only on the external one right now, then I would have to move Pro off of the external and onto the internal on the Pro. But the Pro only has 1 terabyte, and that is not enough for me to do that for a lot of games. So some of my games are like, I'm not going to download it onto the Slim yet in case I'm going to use the external one on it sometime. And that all depends on, which TV is going to be available for me to use at the time that I want to play whatever game it is. So it's more complicated than it should be.
Mm-hmm.
But it is, and so that is why I have not played Street Fighter 5.
Wonderful.
Hashtag tropical problems. Hashtag at every turn.
Yes.
At every turn.
Perfect. Yeah, I did play a little Fortnite this week because I've been doing the daily thing. And yesterday, I had this ridiculous situation where I was hiding in bushes for most of the game. Like, I'm only trying to do the challenges. And oftentimes, the challenges that I get are like out survive a certain number of players. And it was, I think, 300. And so, me, I'm just trying to get the challenges done, but I have other things I need to do. So what I'll do is I'll drop into the map and then get some weapons and then find a bush and basically hide in it until I can no longer hide in it because the safe zone has moved away. And then I'll like sneak to another bush in the safe zone and just hide there. And like, I'm not even holding my controller. I'll just like put it down and do what I'm supposed to be doing. And then it's like, oh, now I got to move again. And then, that's when I start playing. And I had 2 games yesterday where, for some reason, it was squads. Except I had no teammates, and so I just was like, well, I have no teammates, so this is a perfect time for me to do my, Metal Gear Solid style of playing this game. And 2 times, like, entire squads of 4 people just ran right past me. They were super close. I could tell this because they were very loud. Like they weren't even trying to hide. Like I'm sort of crouch walked the whole time, and these guys were just like bunny hopping everywhere. And 4 of them would just like bunny hop past me, and then go about their merry way and like fight other people. I was like, what just happened? Like, how did they not see me? 2 times. 8 pairs of eyes. 16 pairs of eyes. Nobody saw me.
You're like, nah, that's definitely just a bush. It's definitely
I got
just
2 kills from this. Well, almost 3 kills. Like, one guy. So, one time, like, I was in the bush. Group of 4 passed me. And I just waited for them to, like, leave my line of sight. And I was like, okay, they're gone. And so I started walking towards where they were to hide in another bush over there. And then this time, like, I turned to the left. I heard a gunshot. And I turned to the left, and I saw a guy, like, building a ramp. And it's like, oh, my gosh, he must have saw me. So I went to hide in the bush. And I'm sitting there, and I turn around, and I look, and I'm like, well, there he is. He is looking in completely the wrong direction. Like, maybe he didn't see me. And then he started, like, running towards me. It's like, oh, he's running towards me. And then he ran past me. He was like, what? And so I shotgunned him in the back. I was like, oh, that was cool. Like, I usually don't kill anyone when I'm hiding, but that was just too good an opportunity to pass up. And the second time was like, I had silenced weapons, so I could shoot people from my bush at range, and they wouldn't be able to find me. Which that was a fun kill. And then earlier today, I was with my brother. He wanted to play, and we had this one where I actually snuck inside of their fort. There was like 3 guys building a fort, and I was inside their fort, and they didn't know where I was. And they were, granted, they were distracted. They were fighting another team. And I was sitting there, I was like, okay, I have 2 options. I can either use my silence pistol and try to kill them that way, or I can use my submachine gun and try to kill them that way. And then, as I was making this decision, like, a guy fell down in front of me. He was like, well, silence pistol it is. And I just, like, popped him a bunch of times, like, oh, he's dead. And then, like, the other 2 came down, and they were sort of jumping. It's like, I don't think they know where I am. It's like, this is crazy. So, but since there was 2, I was like, okay, fine. So, submachine gun and switched to that one. Started shooting at them. It took them a while, and then finally they realized where I was, and they sort of, like, they tried to loop around and get me from behind. And somehow I got both of them, even though, like, at one point I hit reload after I killed the first guy, just out of habit. And I was like, oh no, why'd I do that? So my guy is sort of slowly reloading, and the other the enemy is like shotgunning me and for some reason missing. We're like 5 feet apart, and I got him too. Like, this is probably my best game ever as far as kills. Yeah, silence weapons are fun. Yeah, so that's what I've been playing.
Oh my. Well, so I mean, I played, what's it called? Monster Hunter World, like all of us have been, except for Tropical, apparently.
I know.
And doing
Terrible.
He's really bad at this.
So when I say that I do not care about certain armor, know that I actually mean I am too lazy to go get that armor.
Tisk.
Just like Destiny.
Just like
Except
Destiny.
for the loot grind is much better compared to Destiny.
I mean, I think that's what it means. I think it's because I'm lazy. Because
It is tropical because I sat on that game for a while, not doing anything. I was like, whatever, dude. And then I finally got around to it. And then I got all my high rank armor augmented up, and I was like, wow, they just took a bunch of Zinni. I didn't even have to really do anything. So,
like Destiny, I was like, oh, I don't care about raid armor or anything like that. I just like the Crucible armor, and to a lesser extent, because they got progressively worse, like the Iron Banner stuff. And then, since they were getting worse, like, well, I don't even care about Iron Banner, so I'm just gonna wear this Crucible stuff. And Destiny 2, being what it is, like, well, I got the Crucible stuff like way long ago, and this is just kind of it, I guess. So,
but did you
lazy
get the ornamentations?
I don't think they look as good.
It's funny too, actually. That reminded me of Ready Player One because, like, since they had two characters that run around like ninjas/samurai, I was like, yep, just like Destiny. Because I would always have that sweet ornamentation-looking armor on if I had it in the game, but I don't. Because I was like, F Destiny 2, I'm not playing anymore, so I didn't get it. So, but if I did have it, I'd always wear it.
Monster Hunter, I've just been wearing the same armor the whole time, like 2 different armors, and that's it. I was like, I guess I'm playing this wrong.
Well, no, I mean, it kind of depends on the weapons you use. So, I mean, you're going to use ones that work better with your weapons. So you're not going to just have random armor on just for the sake of having random armor on. So it's like, I mean, it seems like a good idea in practice, but it's like, yeah, it's probably better to have something that actually works with my weapons.
Like, I guess the thing that I want in Monster Hunter is certain decorations, but I don't know of like surefire ways to get them.
There are not any.
Yeah. So, I basically play it. It's like, oh yeah, I don't care what monster we fight. I think they're all fun to fight. So, if I'm on with other people, it's like, yeah, we'll kill whatever. I don't care. And then, because that's how you get your decorations. It's just sort of random.
It is. It's unfortunate too, because like the augmented ones, because it's like, well, once you have all the weapons that you want, it's like now you have to try to grind for the thing. But since it's random, it's like well, I mean,
Yeah, I was looking at my inventory today. I only have 3 of the hero types, and it's like axe, blade, and something else. Or
I have
and something else.
so many sword and shield and dual blade ones, and I'm like, I've never used these weapons. Why are you doing this to me?
I actually have a lance one. I just haven't decided. It's like, well, I just have the one, so I better make it good. But I don't know, or I haven't made any other lances. I just have the one gun lance,
and then get one of each type.
Wait, I can do what?
Get 4 of, or get like 4 of that lance, and then 1 of augmentation of each type. I think that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
I mean, if
Well,
my drop rate
you
wasn't
can
that
only
terrible, I would.
But
you can only
I need
fit so many augmentations though on each weapon, depending on how rare they are. So
It's like 1 to 3, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the least rare ones. Actually, no, I think you might be able to do 4 on the 6 rarity ones.
Anyways, yeah, just what I mean, besides the bows, so I guess I do have sort of a goal right now to get all the bows, but as far as armor, I don't really care that much, I guess. And then, because to me, especially with the bow, like, I'm so squishy, so it's like,
Your
I don't
armor
know how much
worthless.
defense is going to help me. I mean, basically, I should just try not to get hit ever.
Oh, chapter
And
one,
since I'm a
just
ranged fighter, like,
listening to that sentence
that
makes my
shouldn't be
brain hurt.
too hard.
He's not wrong though. He's not.
I mean, obviously, if you try getting hit, you're not gonna have any issues. But I'm just saying, like, the better your armor, the more hits you can take. So, yeah.
Yeah, but as a ranged character, he would be avoiding. He'd be trying to avoid getting hit at all in the first place.
Usually
so
it's
not
like one hit puts me in a really bad position, so I should just like not get hit that one time all the time.
you basically need to play a perfect game every hunt.
And I haven't played a ranged character, so
Good
I'm not sure how that
luck.
works. So.
and then my other weapon is like, well, I just have to block everything. So my defense doesn't matter either.
It used to be far worse in the previous Monster Hunters because since the ranged characters and the melee characters had different armor sets, you had to have specific ones for being a ranged character, and the defense was like far worse. So it's like if you really were in a position where you pretty much had to play a perfect game. Otherwise, it's like, well, you just ruined the hunt because you got carded 3 times in a row. So good job, you. But they have thankfully changed that because now anybody can wear any armor.
Yep.
They're just
Yes.
like some slightly different bonuses for.
I just want attack gem decorations and augments and
Oh yeah, I did that Timber Devil Joe hunt. F that hunt. Like, it took me like 40 minutes or something, and like at the beginning of it, he one hit me, and I was like, what? So yeah, F that hunt.
that's only weekends.
No, they brought it back for
brought
this
it
one
back
as
for
an
the
event.
event.
As an
Oh,
event
okay.
because all the
Also,
events are available right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, I didn't get to do that one, and I tried it, and I was like, oh, I wasn't missing anything. This is torture.
That's actually how Devil Joe is in the normal games. They nerfed him. So now people can experience what Devil Joe is actually like.
I've been one hit by everything. It's cool.
Ah. So yeah, but now that I've gotten my armor set, I don't actually have to play anymore. So I'll just wait until the Mega Man thing shows up for my Palico, and then yeah.
Yes.
And then I'll do that. I'll do that mission, and then yeah, I'll wait until the next update because by then I
is
think
Devil May
games will start
Cry
coming out.
before then, or do we not know?
No, I think it's gonna be after that because the Mega Man one is first because they already announced that for the festival. But I think Devil May Cry is supposed to be coming soon-ish. So.
And there's supposed to be a Sakura, right? From Street Fighter?
Yeah.
All right, she is supposed to be in there. Yeah. Who even knows?
I want all of the emotes.
Or do you? Or do you?
I want many of the emotes. I want the licensed emotes.
I don't even use emotes in that game. It's funny. I'm just like, see, Destiny, this is how you do it. You give us effing hotkeys on the flipping radial menu, and you don't effing map it to F. I'm sorry. Continue RPG. I'm gonna get Destiny.
Oh my.
Just rage. Rage.
You shouldn't be like that, Tekken. You shouldn't be like
I
that.
can't help it, man. Too much PTSD on that terrible struggle bus that is Destiny. Are you having fun yet?
I
Are you having fun
mean,
yet? No, that's
are
why
you
I'm
having
so-
fun yet?
So much more fun.
The answer to your question is no. You are in fact not having fun yet. That is why you left them. But yeah. So other than that, I have been playing Trails of Cold Steel 2. I guess I've kind of gotten back into the swing of things of playing it, so I've been kind of working my way through it. Eventually, I guess once I take my breaks, it's always like once I go back to it, it's kind of one of those things you kind of fall back in love with something again, I guess. So one of those type of scenarios. Because I mean, like like before I had picked it up again, I hadn't played it in like a while, but it was but once I did, it's like I kind of like started to I guess like enjoy it all over again kind of scenario. Um, I how far did I get? I started so far they're like I guess like there's like this whole scenario where they have to have everybody get I guess like their own little personal side missions type deal during this whole war thing. So I've kind of just been working through that and kind of building all the characters up and whatnot. So that's pretty much all I've been playing mainly. So it wasn't anything too exciting, but hopefully if I get through this soon enough, I will be prepared for the 20,000 games that are coming out this year, and everything will be fine. It'll all be
20,000,
fine.
you say?
20,000.
How many is that a day? That's a lot.
It's a lot.
That's a lot. Well, we gotta get some Paragon in before the 26th.
Oh, I forgot all about that. It is April.
So, like, I'm gonna be gone. But yeah, we'll figure it out. Only 16 more days before Paragon dies, and then we'll have to wait for fan games.
Mhm. That makes me sad. That makes me sad.
All right, this middle segment is it is about past games in your past, but it's sort of or it depends. I mean, it depends on who you are as a gamer today. Like when you chose the name Tekken Master, you were like really into Tekken,
Yes,
probably,
I
or
was.
really good at
I
Tekken.
was really into it. Really into it.
He was really into it.
But that is not necessarily the case now, right?
That would be accurate because I haven't played Tekken 7 in a while, and Noctis is out, and I haven't played with him. Or
Yeah.
the other dude from Fatal Fury or whatever.
I think they cost money too.
Well, I have the season pass on those. That's like the last season pass.
Oh, okay.
Because I was like, well, it's Tekken, so... it's in every other fighting game started doing. I was like, oh, no! Ah! So it's like, yeah. So, you know, just like Far Cry
But yeah.
5, it's like, no, I'm not doing this anymore. You have a season pass. I'm going to wait for that Game of the Year edition with all the DLC in it. So have fun dropping that price for me.
But yeah, like the question for the week's middle segment is, what is the game that defined who you are as a gamer now?
So from the past? I'm confused.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess I can go first. Like, for me, I think the game that turned me into who I am now as a gamer is Heroes of the Storm, which
Wait,
I
but
actually
you
haven't
played
played
that
for like
recently,
a year.
didn't you? That wasn't like a long ago game.
I don't think I've played it since like I played it once since I picked up Paragon over a year ago. But yeah, see, so that's what I'm saying. Like, the gamer I am today is, I don't think the gamer that I was. I used to be like,
I know what you're saying.
yeah,
I already in my brain and my wheels are already turning, so it's good.
okay, yeah, like I sort of dabbled in a lot of games, which I still do. Um,
Understatement.
but it
I
was
made a reverse
primar-
the games, but you know, I dabble in so many. It's delicious, let me tell you.
it was primarily like single player games. So like things like Devil May Cry I thought was super awesome, and like Onimusha and God of War and Uncharted and just like all these single player games. Like that's what I was really into. And it did change over time, like with Uncharted, like PS3 era, where it was just like these amazing cinematic like story type games like Heavenly Sword and all that, Last of Us and all that. And then then I feel like today I still like those games, but primarily I do play a lot of online multiplayer stuff and sort of things that have like I would describe them as like free to play type mechanics that make you come back every day to like oh, you know, you need to come back every day because we'll give you this thing if you do this thing. And I was thinking like, why what happened? Like this is not how I was before. How did I get to this point? And when I think about it, I think Heroes of the Storm was the game that made me do that. If you recall from the podcast, like there was a time when I was playing Heroes of the Storm like every single day. Yeah, and I was like playing all the characters I could. I was like my original goal was like I'm gonna buy every single StarCraft character. And I did eventually do that. And the way I did it was like, oh, you have to get gold, in-game gold, in order to buy the characters. And the fastest way to get it is to level up every single character up to a certain amount of a certain level for that character. And there's like a bonus amount of gold that you get for that character at that time, or that you get for your account when you reach that level for that character. And since I didn't have all the characters, I was like playing the characters that I had up to that point, and then every week there was like a rotating collection of which characters were free. And then so every week I was like, oh, now these characters are free, so I need to get all of them up to that level this week to get that bonus gold from these characters so I can use it to buy StarCraft characters. And I was playing every single day to do the challenges and every single week to get these characters up to that level. And like I think that was the first time that I really was sort of devoted to a game like that. Like I think Destiny was out already. Yes. And I sort of felt like we were playing a lot of Destiny, but it was also like I was playing far less Destiny than most of you guys. And it really was like Heroes of the Storm. I was like, wow, I'm like super devoted to a single game, and I've never done this before. And it like changed the whole way I look at buying games and stuff. Like I still buy games that I don't need, but it feels even worse now because like the games that I've spent the most time on cost me no money. And I think that all started with Heroes of the Storm. So I believe that Heroes of the Storm is the game that defined that turned me into the gamer that I am today, where I'm like, you know, looking at Gran Turismo, I was like, why do I want to play Gran Turismo Sport every day? It's like, well, because there's this like daily thing, and then if you do the daily thing, they give you a free car. Yeah. And then like Fortnite, it's like, oh yeah, so you get the 5 stars if you do the daily challenge. I want to do that. Yeah. And just like Paragon was there was daily challenges, right? And then there was like the weekly challenge to get all the stars to level up your chest so that you could get a gold chest or a diamond chest at the end of the week. And I don't know what that is. Is that grinding? Not really. It didn't feel like grinding, but it kind of is.
Oh, dear.
But yeah, Heroes of the Storm. So that makes the topic clear, right? RPG?
Yeah. I mean,
I already kind of knew what you were talking about. Tekken was the one who seemed to have the issues.
I wasn't sure.
I was fine.
Well, I have like way more than one game though. So is it just one?
Well, I mean, I suppose it could be a combination of stuff. Like, I think the bitter gamer that Tekken is today can definitely be traced to a certain game, but yeah, you know. What do you think?
Well, I was going to go on my tastes and the things I like to play, since, I mean, I play a bunch of stuff. So, you know, there's going to be like 3 main thrusts here and then some sprinkling of other things. But basically, in the olden times, when I was a wee little Tekken, and, you know, okay, that's way too far back. But, you know, as time went on, and I got into like the whole, I like this type of thing. It was like fighting games, Street Fighter and Tekken, racing games like Mario Kart, Gran Turismo, all that fun stuff, Need for Speed, and RPGs, because, you know, Final Fantasy 7, oh, so good, so good, so good!
Gross.
Okay, and so, you know, going from those 3 branching paths, it's like, well, as time went on, it's like, Uh, it's really weird because there's like it's like PS2 era GTA like happened. I was like, oh my gosh, this game's amazing. And it's like, how can it get any better? And then like San Andreas came out, and then like it had like a bunch of RPG elements in it, and then Red Dead RPG elements, and then like essentially that's like just like the open world sprinkled in with some RPG elements. It's just like so delicious. Just like so good. And like anything like that, I just like super am like into because like Far Cry is just like to me the epitome of like what games like that can be. Because like Far Cry 3, man, just like just so good. Let's see. In the racing games, I still play them every now and then. I mean I'm still Vanguard. Not playing every day. Whatever. I'm still that thing. It's still my jam. Like just jump into some game. You play it like Tactical Citizen. Like you get a chance for like the big money no whammies that when you get your prize card. It's like, oh, what do I get? And it's like maybe something else might not be. It's whatever. And, fighting games. I'm kind of on the decline as far as fighting games go. Like Marvel came out, I was okay. Here's the thing about Marvel. Like I could never. I wasn't really into it when it was super popular. And then like when it finally came out in like the Now era, I was playing other things. So I could like, and then when like 3 and Infinite came out, wasn't on my radar really. And then now I'm kind of like off the train because it's like, I mean, I am more of a story driven game now because it's like after Telltale, it's like ain't no going back because that to me is like the word I can't think of, but all the ingredients of like what I want when I play a game, just like choices, decisions, consequences. Oh, and it's episodic and it just keeps going. And there's like these overarching consequences, choices, because that's like, from Mass Effect, like the choices and consequences. I mean, but like that one, it's like all the time. It's not just like this one thing or like this few things of like what's gonna happen if I do this. Oh man, it's like every episode, and like the whole season like builds up, and it's like combination. What'd you get at the end? Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so I'm kind of going to be all over the place. Sorry if you haven't noticed that too. Sorry. But, so, just sprinkling RPG elements. That was like the whole thing from JRPGs back in the day. And then racing games are still with me because that newest Need for Speed, that was open world as well, which is like, my favorite. So I like that. Like the Underground series, which just, open world, you're driving around, you're doing stuff in them. It's not go to race, go to event, go to race, go to event. I mean, those ones are cool. Like Burnout 3 is like my favorite, like one of my favorites like that because it's weird. Like the structure of racing games is like no longer always the case. Like where it's like going to be like that. It's weird. Developers are like, oh, we're going to make it open world, or we're not going to make it open world. And then if it's not, it's for some reason not as good. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. Whatever. Still playing fighting games, but like not as not as much, and not as into them. Just because like the whole narrative thing. It's like I just prefer story now. I just want to play this story and like get to know my characters and like we have an adventure. Like Mass Effect. It's like I want to know these people and what they've been through, and like we get to go through it together. And I get to fall in love with them sometimes. It's weird. Whatever. It happens. And then, in a fighting game, it's just like, you and some other person. I mean, that's the other thing with me, is like, Borderlands and Left 4 Dead and, to a lesser extent, Payday the Heist came along, and it's like, I don't have to be shooting my friends all the time, like in GoldenEye, back in the olden times. It's like, we can just shoot each other, we can shoot things with each other, and it's just a nice, fun, co-op adventure, buddy camaraderie. And then Destiny happened, and I was like, man, this is like almost like there, and then stuff happened, and it's like still work to be done in that regard, but it happens. So maybe one day someone will get it to go there, but still I'm just more a fan of a co-op now. So it's like it's kind of like the antithesis of a fighting game because it's all about 1v1 and beating down on your opponent, not really helping anybody. It's like I'm just trying to be the best and beat down everybody else I play against. It's like I'm kind of over that, kind of not there anymore. And then to go back to like what I said at the beginning when I was a wee little Tekken. I mean, I kind of skipped over this part, but I'm going back now because it's like flashback, whatever. Anyway, so it's like back in Nintendo Entertainment System was out, and it's like Super Mario 1 and Super Mario 3. I was like, oh man, I love these games, they're so awesome. And Super Mario 64 came out. I was like, oh man, it's so great. It's like just awesome. But then something happened. It's like playing those Telltale games and those like Bioware games and like other games, like the story games, like characters and story and like stuff happens. It's like they just. I'm not to say they're not good. It's just like there's a different like tier. It's like a different level. It's like one's like a happy, fanciful, fun time Saturday morning cartoon. The other's like a super dramatic thriller HBO series. It's like I would rather have the HBO series in my life right now because that's just I'm in a very grounded reality in the darkest timeline, and I need to like I can feel it. Okay, I can like feel it every day on the street when I'm there, and I'm like yeah. I mean, okay, I'm not like yeah, but I'm like more like ugh.
I was
you
about to
know,
say you're enjoying it.
definitely not. Definitely not
Yeah.
in a fanciful, happy place of like, oh, yee, ho, ho. Uh, you thank your peach for baking me a cake. Oh, ho, it's so fun every day. Yeah, ho, ho. And then I get to go and play with all my friends and throw
Why do you sound like Mickey
shells,
Mouse now?
jump on Goomba's heads and collect stars. It's so great. Oh, it's like, I've kind of moved on. Sorry, Nintendo. So you're just not hitting that mark. I mean, after The Last of Us, I've changed and like these. I'm a changed man, and I've done things, okay, and I've been through some stuff, okay, and you don't know what I've done, man. You don't know what I've done. You don't know what I've been through, and I've been there, and it was intense. It was effing intense, and the things I've done, and just like I can't just like go from that to like hee hee ho 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 Mario Land, yeah ho ho, and just yeah, it's not the same. It's like it changes you, man. That's what I'm trying to say. It changes you, and I have to like grow as a person, and that's why I've like left you behind. Anyway, I'm kind of all over the place. I said that already, but like if I get back to the 3 pillars here, we got fighting, we got racing, we got RPG. So it's like RPGs, still loving that stuff. And then along the way somewhere, I was like doing my stealth thing, Metal Gear Solid, like sneaking around, anything that has like involving stealth or sneaking around, which is why I'm all up in. I'm so pumped because there's like been a lot of whispers about new Splinter Cell here and like last Splinter Cell was so good. It's just like and like to me it's just Metal Gear Solid and just like sneaking around, choking dudes out. And then, like, any other games that let you do that, like Batman sneaking around, choking dudes out, and like sneaking. I mean, it's not just about sneaking around and choking dudes out, but I'm just saying, like, the way that you can just like be all up on somebody and like they don't know you're there, and you're just like very like voyeuristically looking at them, and you're just like, they don't know I'm there, but I'm here, and as soon as they walk by, I'm gonna choke them out or whatever. But then Hitman, like also like to me like was like the zenith of that, of just like you just like plot out your stuff and like stuff happens and you're like boom boom boom, this is how this hit's happening, I'm gonna kill these people doing this way, and like you're plotting all you're like just in your head, you're just like, this is my plan on the fly, it's so delicious, it's like and so any stealth stuff, like totally loving it. And then let's see, that's stealth, got some RPG stuff. I mean, it'd take me a while to like go through like the whole RPG tree, but I still play RPGs. I'm just gonna say that because like we would be here for a while if you would like for me to like go from FN Final Fantasy 7, like I said at the beginning, to like FN Chrono Trigger, which was like an older game, and I came back to it and it's like, oh man, it's amazing. And then effing Mass Effect, effing Nier, okay, come on, take it. Okay, but yeah, okay, it's intense. It's intense. There's a lot of good JRPGs out there, fantasy tactics, grid-based strategy games. So God, and then there's like the Zodiac game RPGs talking about. I haven't even played it, and I'm so excited. It's just so good. Sorry. But like it's like a brain massage for me, just like to play that turn-based stuff, and it's just so good. I can't. It's like hard for me to put words to like why. It's just like you have music, you have the character designs. It's all Japanesey. It's all like it's just
Japanese.
It's just a delicious dish of like awesomeness. And then you got sweet attacks, animation, the whole 9 yards. And then I was like, man, how can they make this better? And then Borderlands was all like, hey, Token, I've never talked about this game, but I didn't go in depth, and now we're going in depth. Because it's like 4-player, co-op, with guns, shooting thingies, like FPS games, like I mentioned before, back in the day, GoldenEye. And then from like there to like, I guess, what was that game called? No. I'm sorry. There's that one where... What's the one where you go back to, what's the one in the Vietnam? The one that like, or like the flashback one, where you fight the numbers.
Black Ops?
Yes, Black Ops 1. Like, that's like the last Call of Duty game I played, so like, just like the intense first-person shooter action, the goodness. And then, but then that's the other thing, is like, what's so good about Borderlands, to get back to Borderlands, is like, it takes awesome first-person shooterness, and then like it adds all the loot stuff from RPGs, and it's like, and then sweet deliciousness for player co-op, like I talked about earlier, and that's just so good. So I'm always down for some 4-player co-op action, just like in Monster Hunter World, which is why I've been just so hooked, because it touches all my glowy orange spots of, wow, I don't know what to say that to like not make it weird, but that. So
too late.
Glowy orange spots of goodness. It's all over them because it's got the grind, which is like a good grind, and you just can't get enough of it. But I mean, I mean, okay, here's the thing. If you don't like grind games, you're like not gonna like it. That being said, if you're like me and you've embraced the grind and you put like over 3,000 hours of Destiny of like grinding to nowhere, and you're just like, I can't get enough grinding, I can't get enough grinding, and then you end up hating the game because you can't get enough grinding. And you're like, find a game that does the grind good. You're like, oh my gosh, this is the best grind ever, and just like grind all over it. And then it's like Monster Hunter World. Oh my goodness, like I played like 30 hours and I can't. It's like you know, it's like it's like it hits the sweet spots on all the levels of just like the grind is amazing, the like loot system is amazing, the combat's amazing. I'm okay. Story wise, it's like but it's like it like basically all these other things are like amazing. So it gets bass combat. It's like and then like the immersion and like the character designs and like the palette are like effing adorable and just like I gotta get a cat. It's like it got armor and just, I can just customize it. Oh, and like and the setting's awesome too because it's like you know it's not in the future. It's like old worldy, but it's like got interesting stuff going on there. Just like how's that work? Oh, okay, cool. They use flies to do things and they smell things. So yeah. Kind of off track again. I'm sorry. I'm trying to remember where I was going. I said RPGs. I talked about fighting games. So like fighting games, RPGs, and driving games. Like those are like the main three things. That being said, fighting games have kind of like fell to the wayside. But I guess like in their place, you can say like co-op shooters have like arisen to like replace the third tier, and then like racing games will like never die to me because it's like you know still playing Grudge this day, and so you know like back in the day, it was like you know I was playing whatever, and then like I just like racing games. I just like going fast and like passing things. I don't know. I don't know why. It's like that's just one of my brain zones. I mean, I'll RPG cover Sonic. So I'm sure Sonic's on his thingy somewhere. But man, back in the day, dude. Okay, okay. I'm sorry, I keep like going flashback section, but like you know, after we had a Nintendo Entertainment System, we didn't get a Super Nintendo because my sister wanted a Sega Genesis. So I was a Sega Genesis child, and I didn't have a Super Nintendo, so I never got to play those games. But I did to play Sonic the Hedgehog 2 and 3. I was like, wow, these games are fun and they're effing awesome. And I fell in love with Sonic. And you know, in his 2D years, he was pretty cool. And then up until Sega Adventure on Dreamcast, I was like, wow, Sonic, you're like so cool. You can like not do any wrong. And then I was wrong because Sega just like dragged him through the mud.
He did plenty of wrong.
And he had a lot of downtime or like you know falling on hard time years until Sonic Generations came out. I was like, man, I didn't think he'd ever come back and like be awesome again. But they did it. Yeah, there's still hope there that like he can come back and you know we can go and have fun in Sonicville. But yeah, 3 tiers: fighting, racing, RPG, and then fighting is not really there anymore. But you know, there's plenty of other stuff. There's plenty of other stuff, and like Telltale's like you know, as long as they're making stuff like that's like yeah, like I said, just a deep tissue brain massage on my brain because that's like all the things I like. It's like I mean, gameplay. It's like whatever, dude. I don't really care because like that's just like it's like you know, I can just focus on stories and characters and just like so. It's just like you know, just, like I said, deep tissue brain massage. I'm just like, yeah, oh, so yeah, just like playing it. Just this stuff happens, consequences, choices, consequences. Just yeah. There might be more there. I think that's pretty much everything because I don't think there's anything else I've not talked about that I do enjoy playing right now or lately or in the past. So yeah, take it away, RPG. That was all over the place. I don't care. Also, F Destiny. You know, it knows what it did. It knows what it is. That.
Although, thanks to Destiny, you do enjoy like squad games and stuff. So I mean, there's that. There is that.
But it was before that, though. It was like Left 4 Dead and Payday and.
Yeah, but I feel like all his billions of hours spent in Destiny kind of helped hone that. But then he realized that there are other games to do that and still enjoy himself and not play Destiny.
That's not true. Because back in the day, I was always like, man, Borderlands is awesome. Man, Left 4 Dead is awesome. I really wish I'd have more games like this. And then, like, I think Sacred 1 or 2 or 3, maybe 2 and 3, it was past when it was out. And, like, I could never get anybody to play with. And I was like, man, we should play Sacred. Man, we should, or, like, I'd always, like, try to find excuses to play co-op games, like that Alien game when we left RPG behind that one time.
Oh, yeah.
And then, like, the
Alien Swarm.
The Moon-based Alpha one. That was, yeah. Those were
Yeah.
And then like they just never made more. And like they stopped making them. I was like, why are there any more co-op games? And just yeah, whatever.
Because people like you exist and leave their teammates behind and then just kind of screw everybody over. So yeah.
Yeah, like I think even before Destiny, like Tekken had a crackout mode for games, and then you know, listening to this, like yeah, like he liked the co-op stuff, and then. RPG elements and like Destiny sort of has all of those things. It even had racing to an extent, but then,
during its dark
Unfortunately,
times.
like crack out mode in Destiny is a journey to nowhere, and so like we learned that there's a limit to crack out mode. You go too long, and it gets bad.
I mean, I felt like we already knew that, though. Felt like we already knew that.
Well, I mean, I knew that.
It's like somewhere deep inside. I think we all.
Yeah, like before that, what was Tekken was
Actually, that's a good point,
getting
because,
all
like,
of the banners in Mass Effect
I've kind of gotten
multiplayer.
sour on anything that is like anything like nearly like Destiny, because it's like
That's similar.
Ghost Recon, Wildlands didn't touch it, Division didn't touch it, Anthem probably not touching it, but it's Bauer, so I might touch it, and then it's like
I was about to say,
it's
just
kind of like
give
tainted
Anthem a
the
chance before
it's like
you
ocean spilled
change
into
it.
the water of like the games I like to play. Now it's like I don't know, man. I've been down that road, and I kind of don't want to go there ever again because it was so bad. Just saying.
Because I mean, Anthem might actually be fun outside of the whole, Destiny-esque elements of it.
Yeah, but then like Monster Hunter came in, and it's like, well, now there's hope again because I'm having so much fun with this game. I'm having so much fun.
See, so it's possible. It's possible, and Bioware made this one, so I mean, you don't have to worry about them being like Bungie and only wanting your money because reasons. Although then again,
Well,
they are owned by like never mind. So I mean, when
if they had a choice, sure.
we'll see, because I mean,
This give me an idea for like YouTube Video Tropical. It's like going to be like a gaming timeline of like years, and then like games I played and like how they affected my life. And, like how like 30 years later, it's like I'm still playing games like Street Fighter. Tekken.
like I'm still
I'm still
neurotic
playing
thanks to
Resident
video
Evil, even though I was
games.
super scared of it at the beginning. I mean, I haven't played 7 yet, but it's in VR. That's why. So eventually I will work up the courage to get that. So.
Well, you can play it without VR. You don't have to play that one in VR.
RPG. It's like one step removed from bodysuits, and we all know it's coming. Oh man, I'm ready to play 1-2, dude. Like that's like I'm like so like all in on bodysuits now. Just I can't stop. It's like not like I can't stop thinking about it, but it's like it's even it like inception the idea even further into my brain, which I didn't know was like impossible. And like it's like now in like my subconscious when I like think about things of like bodysuits.
Has anime taught you nothing?
Hey
Is
man,
it-
I like Sword Art Online. I mean, yeah, you may die in real life, but I mean, really, is it really worth living if you can have your sweet loot and friends and adventure? Okay, maybe it is.
I mean,
That being said, not as fun of a time riding dragons and sword fights and sweet spells and dungeons and loot. I mean, okay, sure, I wouldn't do it because like you could die and that would suck, but I'm just saying, man. If they
I
just,
think
like,
Ready Player One was the
just die. It's microwave your brain. So it's a bit more just a bit more excessive. Just keep that in mind.
I think Ready Player One was the first time I've ever seen like the bodysuit thing, but like a reason why people would want it. Because like today, we do have bodysuits sort of today, and it's always like, oh, so you can feel getting shot or like getting hit. And like, why would
It's like,
anyone
why would
want
you-
any of these
exactly.
things?
It's like, what possible motivation would you have for that? It's like I've always wanted to feel horrible pain. Let's get on that, guys.
Yeah, but in the movie, he's like he wears it to go on a date, and I was like, why would? Oh,
It's like in those situations, yes, it makes more sense. So if you're only playing dating sims, then maybe bodysuit would come in handy. But if your preference in games is first-person shooters, probably a little less fun. So, there's that. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not on Tekken's train with this whole VR bodysuit thing. We've warned ourselves too much for this stuff, man. We've warned ourselves too much. But yet we keep on working towards those goals. Keep on working towards them. It's fine. It's fine. I guess I'll just be the lone survivor, I guess, because...
I would rather it be like a San Junipero type situation.
It won't be
Me
tropical.
too.
It won't be. because we live in the darkest timeline.
It was on Black Mirror.
Yes, but it was supposed to be the one hope spot. Have you seen all the other episodes? All of the other episodes. So
Right.
yeah. Although there was one in season, was it 4 is the most recent one? There's one in the most recent season that's kind of like sand.
the USS whatever Orville.
Oh no, I was talking about
the
the hang the DJ one.
Yeah. Okay. I
It's
thought you were talking
similar
about the
with
game specifically,
Hope
not
Spot
just
one.
the.
Oh no,
that was
no.
just like
The
how
game that playtest one
software
was
works. That was a weird episode, or how they want to show how they think software works or whatever. That was weird.
playtest one was kind of like the same thing with the whole "we warned ourselves" type scenario. It's like once again, no one's thinking. We keep on doing this. We keep on doing this. So
Keep on, keep it on.
I've actually seen quite because I think Netflix actually has like a whole genre of movies on there for that kind of thing. So because I
That's
saw
what all sci-fi was like at one
was it
point.
really? Oh
Yeah, like all sci-fi ended with something horrible. Think sort of Planet of the Apes.
because there was I was watching one movie. It's like about these people who got called. I guess they got called up to like play this game for a prize or whatever, and it actually had the whole bodysuit thing and VR, and they were playing like this kind of war game, but every time you got injured or anything, it actually like affected, like they could feel the pain and everything, and you only have like one healing item. But then of course they eventually started turning on each other because as these things go, it's like, well, I don't want to get shot because it feels horrible, so I'm gonna start sacrificing my friends, stealing all their health items so I can keep myself alive. It was just a mess. It was just a mess. Needless to say, everyone died. So, moral of the story is probably shouldn't go the whole bodysuit route, but it's fine. It's fine. Lone survivor, guys, because I refuse. So many scenarios where it's a bad thing. The Matrix, I mean, everything else, post-Matrix. So it's like, just not doing it. Just not doing it. But, yeah, so anyways, I guess, let's see, maybe the game where I am today. I mean, I guess my story is a bit more simple than yours, but I mean, growing up, I have a younger sibling, so and we're like fairly close in age. So growing up, we've kind of like when we first got our first console or whatever, which was the classic Nintendo, we had to kind of had to share everything. So it's one of those things where we were kind of like forced to always be looking for, I guess, co-op games or things like that, or things that you can at least like take turns playing, because it was like, otherwise my mom wouldn't let us get them because she's like, well, if you guys can't share it, then it wouldn't be fair. So, so yeah, that's pretty much how it went up until, let's see, how far. It went on for a while because I don't think I started to branch out into like the PlayStation, which was like several generations after that, if I'm not mistaken. So it's like it was pretty much all co-op games and two-player games and stuff since then, which is also probably why I love party games now. So Mario Party for the win, guys. For the win.
That.
So as being forced. As always being forced to do that kind of stuff, it's like you kind of start to fall into those type of things. It's like, oh, I guess we always should play these kinds of things. I mean, I do enjoy Mario Party, though. I'm not gonna lie, it's one of my guilty pleasure series. But yeah, but I think the real first turning point is probably like actually because when I got the PlayStation, or when we got our PlayStation or whatever, I think it was my 9th birthday, somewhere around there. It's like when I got my first RPG. So we were at the store or whatever, and I was looking through the games as usual, and I was like, I have to find something to play with my stupid brother. I really know what it is. So, but then while I was doing this, like I saw like this one, the the one game, or when I saw like the box art for it or whatever, I was like, this looks cool. And there's 3 people on it, so it must be multiplayer, right? It wasn't. Spoiler alert, because once again, it was an RPG. So those times, they were all single player. So the game in question was Wild Arms. So it was my first RPG ever, and I actually didn't know what an RPG was at the time. So when I saw it, and I just like I didn't really. I mean, I looked at the back of the box and everything, but I mean, once again, at the time, since I didn't know what the genre was, it was kind of just like, oh, this sounds interesting based on the description, but I did not know what I was getting myself into. But this kind of like, I guess this kind of got to the point where it's like we were starting to be allowed to kind of like play our own games and stuff. I mean, we had to take turns using the console at this point, but now we weren't forced to like play games together anymore. So it was just like my brother kind of went off in his direction and started getting games he wanted, and then eventually led him to get adventure games like the whole Grand Theft Auto and sports games and stuff like that. So we ended up going in completely different directions there. But so when I was playing Wild Arms for the first time, like I said, it's like I'd never played an RPG at this point. It had always been like party games, co-op games, platforms and stuff like that. So it was like completely different from everything that I played before. So I didn't really know what I was getting myself into. So I started playing this, and as we're going, or as the game's going on, and then it's like, I don't know what it was. I just remember like I don't know why I was up so late one night, but because I was like fairly young, so I shouldn't have been. But I think it might have been like a Saturday or something. But it's like I was up really late and I was playing it, and then there's just it was just like there's like this moment where it just like it felt right. It just felt right when I was playing the game, and then like all this stuff was happening, and then I mean, it was also probably the first narrative-driven game I played. So it's like there's like the way the game starts, you have the 3 different characters, and then it kind of like starts with their own separate little adventures before they all come together. So then it's like you kind of see where they started, kind of see their motivations and everything, and then you actually start getting into the game proper, and then all this stuff started happening, and then people's parents are dying, and then cities were under siege, and then characters are getting their arms chopped off. It was just like all kinds of craziness going on in this game, and I was like, man, this is awesome, because it's just kind of like a very long movie in some sense. I mean, obviously, like I said, with most of the story stuff going on, it's basically the game's trying to tell you a story or whatever, but it's like movies are obviously a lot shorter. Otherwise, people will be in movie theaters for 40, 50 hours. I don't think that's going to be a very pleasant experience for anybody, unless it's like something like super compelling going on. But it's like, it was really just, I don't know, like when I started playing it, I'm just like, this, I just love everything about this. And it kind of, I mean, once again, because since I didn't know what the genre was, or what genre the game was, I couldn't really like look for more games like it, strangely enough. So it's just like one of those things I kind of had to look for things that looked similar on the box art, and it's like, maybe this will be the type of game, until I kind of found out what they were. And this is before like you could just go on the internet and be like, search genre, and then like it'll give you like a list of everything. It's like, oh, this makes things so much easier. So it's one of those things. It's like it kind of snowballed from there. But it's like I always have the fondest memories of playing Wild Arms. So I was like, there was a point where I was like replaying it like every year for God knows how long, and then they released more in the series. Subsequently after that, and then I played those, and then started branching out into other RPGs and whatnot. But it's I think from that, it kind of, that feeling kind of always stuck with me. So I think for me, like that kind of like set the tone, or set the kind of like set the bar for the kind of experience I looked for in games whenever I started playing it. So then other genres kind of started to move to the side, and it's like I kind of started to focus more on narrative driven games and more RPGs type of scenarios, hence my gamer tag. But I think it's one of it's kind of continued to influence the type of games that I play, because I mean, even though I have branched out into other genres now, and I do obviously play other games that aren't RPGs, but for me, it's like I still kind of look for those elements in other games that kind of make it a total experience. So I mean, I wouldn't necessarily go out and play a game if it doesn't have some type of, I guess, story element to it. I mean, in some cases, it's not always the case, but in some cases, but then, like I said, because I started out mostly, it being the whole forced co-op and all that other stuff growing up, it's like I've kind of also kind of kept the whole multiplayer or like, well, specific certain types of multiplayer games. I mean, I wouldn't play like any game just because it has multiplayer, but it's like more like, I guess, squad-based kind of co-op type thing. So I do still enjoy those because I mean that's why I enjoy Monster Hunter and like I said, Mario Party and stuff like that, because it's like fun time to just have with your friends or whatever. But I think generally speaking, after playing Wild Arms for the first time and then kind of subsequently playing more games like it, I kind of stumbled into this whole world of RPGs, and it's kind of one of those things where it's just like, man, this is such a magical experience. I need to have more of this. And then eventually I discovered Final Fantasy shortly after this. Well, I think it was that one and Legend of Legaia were the first two like other RPGs I played beyond that. So it was like Final Fantasy VIII was my first Final Fantasy, and then I had to retroactively play the other ones, and then Legend of the Guy, which I think was made by, wait, was it the same developer? I don't think it was the same developer, but something similar anyway. I think the box art might have looked similar to Wild Arms, which is probably why I picked it up. And then so I played that one, and then that's kind of how it went from there. And then yep, I'm still playing RPGs today, obviously. So they are still my favorite genre, and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. Because, like I said, for me, it's kind of like it's kind of like part of the experience to kind of have those character-driven stories where you have these people just kind of dropped in these situations, and then you're kind of like watching their lives fall apart around them while they're trying to figure out how to get themselves out of these situations and kind of stuff, and then just like all these other things going on. And then a lot of times the battle systems are more, I guess, like strategic, and for me it's like that's more entertaining for me to have to, I guess, like think my way through a problem as opposed to just mindlessly running around and shooting stuff. So I've kind of stayed on that path, because even with action RPGs, you still kind of get that some level of like tactics involved for some of them. So well, it depends, because some of them are just hack and slash, but it's but you do have it with some of them. So it's one of those things where it's kind of just stuck with me since when I was a wee kid, and kind of had to go from there. And yeah, that's kind of what led me to my gaming habits today, I guess.
It's crazy that I didn't go into RPGs. Like, both of my brothers did, but I never. I mean, I like them. The first one I ever saw was 6.
You do like to dabble.
I just about to say,
I think that's the thing, though.
You don't have the attention span for
I don't
them.
have the
is the
attention
problem.
span.
I like your Final Fantasy 9 experience. I'm going to play until I'm next save point. Just do that.
Which is a terrible way to play, by the way.
You saw the first game, by the way.
Obviously.
I'll have to start over again, because that's what happens.
Have you ever
Yeah,
played
I
Chrono
think-
Trigger RPG? I mean, Tropical?
I have.
Okay. Did you finish it?
Did I finish that one?
Probably not.
Not the long way. I did it once the short way. Because like you get to choose when that game ends, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of.
I've done it once the short way. Now what happened with those games for me? So the first time I ever saw an RPG, it was Final Fantasy VI, and like my school was having like a school fair or something like that, and then one of the classes decided to do like an arcade with consoles, and I never had a Super Nintendo, and so they had one set up in their classroom, and I was watching it. It was like it was in the beginning, and it was like Sabin and his brother and Locke and a fourth character that I can't remember. And I was just watching like them do blitzes, and I was like, "Oh, this is really cool." I was like, "Wait, I think I've like heard of this type of game before, but I have no idea what it is." And I just thought, "Oh, I like the way it looks." And then we we never got a Super Nintendo. We downloaded an emulator, so we played pirated like Super Nintendo games.
Ooh.
And so the first time I ever saw all of Final Fantasy VI was a pirated version. I have no idea how we found it either. I don't even know if I was aware of piracy at the time.
Ah.
We just like had it, and then we were playing it, and I was like, "Oh, this is really cool." And my problem was like I was playing it concurrently with my brother, so we had actually different save files, but we were both playing it. And I think I saw the ending. He was like playing much faster than I was, or more than I was, and I saw the ending, and then I was like, "Well," and that sort of like killed my desire to play it anymore. And so then I never finished Final Fantasy VI. And Chrono Trigger, I think, was probably the same. And that has happened to me on numerous games over the years. In fact, like that's why I haven't finished Final Fantasy IX. Like I was playing it, I got it at launch, and I was playing it, and then I was in school, and like then a friend of mine wanted to borrow it, and I was like, sure, lent it to him. And then like months later, I was living at his apartment because I had nowhere to live, and like he was stuck on the final boss, and so I beat the final boss, and then in my mind, it sort of felt like I had finished it, and so I never played the rest of it. So there's like a middle section I never played. But yeah, it's RPGs were really huge when I came back, and they were pretty big when I was in Taiwan too, and yet I was never like. I see the appeal, but it was that era when it was like you were playing the game kind of for the fun of it, but really you were just trying to get to the next cutscene because the cutscenes were like the rewards for playing through the game. We got 8 at launch too, but it was a Japanese version. We got 8 at launch in Japan, and we could not get past the first part because you have to draw from a dinosaur. You had to draw sleep. And since none of us knew Japanese, like, there was no way for us to know that. And so we're just, like, stuck there the whole time. But it's like, well, at least we got to see, the opening cutscene, which was super amazing. And what happened? I think you also see the ballroom scene.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Maybe.
Before you get to that part. And then you're just stuck in the forest trying to beat this Tyrannosaurus, which is impossible. Cool. This is a fun topic. We can do more histories at some point. I think everyone's gamer tag has been talked about this segment, so I'll just add mine. Mine is in 1997, I needed an email address, and I remember it was the episode I-Hugh, or I-Borg, of Star Trek The Next Generation, and there's a scene where they're talking about this paradox, visual geometrical paradox that would like crash the Borg collective or whatever, and on the screen at the top, I thought it said trioptical, and so that became trioptical@hotmail.com became my email address. And years later, when I saw that episode again, not in standard definition, I found out that that's not what it says at all. So I made up a word, and
Oh no!
that became my Hotmail address, and just became like the thing that I used everywhere, and no one else has used it except for a glasses company in Canada, because or they have a hyphen between tri and optical, because in Chinese the word for essentially means like clear vision or whatever, looks like 3 of the character for eyes. So they chose Traptical from that, and I was like, so they have Traptical.com. But other than that, I'm, as far as I know, the only Traptical
So wait,
everywhere.
what did it actually say? What you were trying to, what you
It
saw on
said,
the...
well, I can't remember now because I haven't seen it in a while. But it was not. I remember it was not Traptical. It was like, I think it was a math term of some sort.
Oh, oh dear.
Triangle.
Triangle.
A more complicated techno-apple type math term.
Trigonometry.
That doesn't even sound like Tropical. I mean, I'm
Standard
pretty sure the
def.
word was...
If you don't
was
remember
close.
standard def was something else. You could not see
Standard
anything.
I just remembered
Yeah.
something. There was a time.
It did start with a T. It did start with a T.
Well, that's good.
There was a time in my
Sorry.
life where I did play a bunch of sports games, and I was like, I would get like the yearly Madden and NBA Lives, but that was like when I was very young. So at some point, I did play sports games, but like I kind of aged out of that, so no longer the case.
Were they 3D at that point?
Towards the end they were, 'cause it was on the 64, but for a long time,
Okay.
they weren't.
I remember playing Live 97, which was like a 2D like isometric
Yeah,
camera that we
those were
played
my
with.
favorites.
Yeah, that was fun. Um, the Sonics and Gary Payton. Because I like to push the steel button. And it's like, oh, well, then I need the glove.
Cause,
All
like,
right.
the Dreamcast and PS2 came out, and like they're looking super awesome and like super realistic. I already like stopped playing them. I was like, man, those look awesome.
Mhm.
I didn't play them anymore. So.
Cool. Well, that's the middle segment for this week. I don't know what's going to be next week, so we'll see. On to the news.
Dun, dun.
All right, what did I write this week? Oh, so there was a few big announcements for games that I think people are really excited for. First of all, Spider-Man. Marvel's Spider-Man on PS4 is got a release date of September 7th. Currently, Game Informer's feature of the month is Spider-Man, so we're learning like a lot more about that game. Apparently, the web swinging, which is what everyone cares about, feels much better than Spider-Man 2. So that
I will
is
believe it when
out
I
there.
see
Yeah, I was like, okay,
it
let's
or
see
play
it.
it.
Yeah, it does look really good though.
It does.
One of the things I saw was like there's spider suit crafting.
What?
So you craft the different spider suits. Like apparently when you start off, he's not wearing the one that we've been seeing with the white spider. He's wearing like the classic one. And for a story reason that has yet to be revealed, you build the white one. So
It's in honor of someone dying, probably. I mean, let's be real.
Uncle
That's
Benzies.
why he does anything. That's why he does anything.
Captain America. That's why it's red. I don't know.
It's not wrong. It's not wrong.
Actually, it's funny because well, it's not funny, but like, isn't September whatever usually when like the next Destiny thingy comes out? In the
Um,
It
September?
is.
So could that be a
Usually.
clash?
Well, there's a ton of games coming out that we know of already coming out in that time period, so it's gonna be rough for Destiny. Since it's already rough for them. Like whatever the next thing is, it's gotta be insanely good.
it won't be.
It's gonna be really hard.
Yeah, I saw articles on that. It's like, is Destiny dead? This is the end of Destiny. Destiny can they turn it around? It's like, ooh, finally, this is make or break time. This time for reals.
Where did I hear it? Like they went from millions of players, like 6 million, not concurrent players, but like players, to currently something like 200,000, 300,000. It's pretty insane. They also announced the Spyro remaster that's been rumored and I guess is real. Spyro Reignited trilogy will come out September 21st. It's being developed by Toys for Bob, which is the studio that made all of the Skylanders Toys to Life stuff.
I've never actually played a Spyro game, so I have no interest in this game.
Me either. I've only ever played the demo
So really?
back when
Like-
demo discs were
Yeah,
things.
so whenever
Huh.
I'm getting excited about it, I was like, I have no interest in this game. It's like,
Were you like that with Crash?
yeah, because I never had a PlayStation, so I had no knowledge of it. I mean, I wanted to play the remastered trilogy because I was like, oh, I can finally play it, but I had not really played it.
RPG, were you like that with Crash too?
No, I've played the Crash
Okay,
games.
so you played
I just-
Crash.
Yeah, I've played Crash before.
I think like there was a certain generation where like Crash was kind of their Mario,
Yeah.
and so that's why it was like that. And I guess like Spyro was around the same time, so but I don't know if people liked Spyro in the way that they liked Crash. Like it always seemed like people were insane about Crash, and then Spyro was also there. Not that it was bad. I mean, Insomniac's early games, but still, it's like it feels to me like people started asking about Spyro because the Crash thing happened. They're like, "Oh, we got Crash remastered. Well, what about Spyro?"
Yeah, not necessarily that it was like good. That people just are like, well, it exists. So
Yes. But yeah, the Spyro trilogy, unlike when the Crash trilogy was announced, is coming to PS4 and Xbox One. And sort of in the same vein, Crash Bandicoot is being ported to Switch and Xbox One as we speak. Or maybe they're done with it. I don't know. But yes, it's going to be on all platforms.
let's see. I mean, one of the things I liked about, or because I played like when I played the Crash games, it's like well, I also played like the racing game and it was like a party game for him too. So I mean,
The Crash Team Racing.
Crash Bash or
I
something,
got that on
stuff like that too. So I was
the
like,
PS1 classics on PS3.
Oh, wow.
I think
Yeah,
I-
those were on there, weren't they?
they were.
Let's see. Oh, today they announced a Mega Man X Legacy collection. 2 of them, in fact.
Ooh.
Capcom is holding true to what they said, that they're just going to do lots of ports.
We were
But, you
lying,
know,
guys.
I like Mega Man X, so I'm happy about this. So there's going to be Mega Man X Legacy Collection 1, which will be X1 through 4, and then Legacy Collection 2, which will be 5 through 8. Each one will be $20. It's coming out July 24th for Xbox One, PS4, and Switch. And in North America, there will also be physical editions of those on discs, except for Switch. On Switch, it'll be the first 4 are going to be on the cartridge, and then there will be a download code for the last 4. They are adding a mode called X Challenge, which lets you fight 2 bosses at once. And I guess like when the bosses team up together, when the Mavericks team up together, they'll have surprising moves and stuff like that. So
Oh my.
that's kind of neat.
Well, on the bright side, Mega Man X is done. Resident Evil still hasn't been announced, so still looking forward to that. Street Fighter Anniversary, 30th Anniversary is in May. I think they already did Dead Rising, because it's on PS4. And then
Devil May Cry they did.
Dragon's Dogma, yeah, Devil May Cry. So, you know, eventually they're going to run out of road. And they're going to make something new. Or that too. It's like, or whatever you're looking forward to, it will eventually get there. Or, you know, maybe they'll just be done with all of them because they kind of run it like a as we can see a, a factory and just like just spit it all out. So eventually they'll run out of road and make something new, or just move on to what you want to make. So yeah, Onimusha, Chaos Rain, looking forward to it.
Oh my gosh, that'd be awesome.
Enjoy Onimusha.
So Boss Key, the studio that Cliff Bleszinski started and made Lawbreakers. So Lawbreakers is not doing well. It's not making the money that they thought they would, and so they're like, I guess, supporting it as it currently is, meaning that they're not going to add more stuff to it. And I guess they're working on making it into a free-to-play game. But in the meantime, they have another free-to-play game that they released on super early access Steam today called Radical Heights. They are jumping on the Battle Royale bandwagon with a 1980s game show themed game in which you like get kills and get money or something, and then you can like buy stuff in from vending machines in the area. I don't know. It's a battle royale in some way, but also sort of wacky. It feels like, or just watching the trailer, it seems like it's sort of in between Fortnite and PUBG. PUBG is like super realistic style, and then Fortnite is very cartoony style, and this is like the people and the world seem sort of cartoony, but the guns seem sort of like realistic. So we will see how that goes. And then there's a game. Do you remember The Seventh Guest? Was an old like adventure game.
Mm-hmm.
There is a fan-made sequel called The 13th Doll, which is it was a Kickstarter game, and it has a release date now. It is coming out October 31st, Halloween. This is one of the indie games that's going to be at the thing that I've been working on, so I was like, oh, that's really cool. Okay, so that's all the game announcements. There is a... So we were talking about Splinter Cell earlier. Like, Sam Fisher is going to be in Ghost Recon Wildlands. They've added him as, I guess, a support character. So there's like a new PvE mission in Ghost Recon Wildlands that's like stealth-based, and it happens at night, and the ghosts that you play as are supposed to be supporting Sam Fisher on some mission of some sort. And if you complete it before May 16th, you get the triple light goggles thing. Yeah. There is also a free weekend for Ghost Recon Wildlands this weekend from sometime on the 13th until the 15th.
I'll just wait for the proper Splinter Cell game to be announced D3. Thanks.
So one of the exciting things about this DLC is that Sam Fisher is voiced by Michael Ironside, the original voice actor for Sam Fisher, instead of the young one that we got in Which one was that?
Blacklist.
That one, Blacklist?
Yeah, that was the recent one, the most recent one.
I think that's the other game that you are disappointed I haven't finished yet.
What? I didn't even know until you said that, chapter, because I remember you playing it.
You did know at some point,
well,
and you were what? You had the same reaction that you just had.
Re-disappointed.
Now that we've remembered, yay. Okay. There was some Overwatch League stuff, like...
Oh, I saw that. That was crazy.
Or, if you're not following Overwatch League, it's suffice it to know that...
Drama.
Yeah, there's like a lot of sort of poor player conduct that people are getting suspended over.
Toxicity.
Racial slurs on streams, and the latest one was a guy was apparently pursuing a relationship with a 14-year-old girl.
How old
He's
is
21, by the way.
So that question.
and then I'm pretty sure there was a troll one where some guy was like he bumped into someone backstage and then wrote this long apology. Oh, I'm sorry, I bumped into this person, all this, and it was like, what's going on? I was like, I'm pretty sure this guy is trying to sort of ironically make a statement that he thinks everything is too strict in the Overwatch League. But I, for one, am very happy that Overwatch League is like trying to take it seriously and like, not be complacent. I don't. They're not like. Apparently, Overwatch the game is really toxic. I have not experienced this myself, but Overwatch the game is apparently very toxic, and the community around the standard game, and so they're trying to make sure that the Overwatch League, the professional league, is not like that, and I think that's really, really cool. But yeah, Overwatch League is having these types of issues in their inaugural season, so.
Oh, no.
That's all you need to know.
No publicity is bad publicity, so,
Unless it means that, advertisers are going to be like, well, we can't be part of this.
Or if all the players are suspended, so they have no league.
No players.
So, what is that?
It's just been, it's been very, really weird. Or, I guess, not unexpected.
I don't know about that, Tropical. Are there any issues with like the flippin' Dota 2 players and their like the way they act?
Yes.
I don't really follow it, so I'm not really sure.
Okay,
Maybe.
I was imagining that like if there was, it would be that publicized. But I haven't really heard anything about Dota 2 players being a-holes like that. So
I actually haven't either. So maybe it is just Overwatch.
I mean, there are some weird people in the FGZ that do stuff sometimes, but yeah. Their defense is usually, it's just part of the scene, man. It's just part of the scene.
But it's not.
It's messed up. And then, so finally, I have a story that I saw today that apparently some people figured out how to make private servers for Demon Souls that you can access just by changing your PS3's DNS? DSN?
DNS.
DSN? Is that right?
DNS.
It's like something server name. Yeah. No, it's a name server, so it's DNS. Yeah, that's right.
Figure it out, Chop.com.
It's a domain name server. DNS? Yeah, it's DNS. You change you change your DNS on your PS3 to access this server as a privately run server of Demon Souls, and you can have all of that online functionality back, albeit with a much smaller pool of players, because not very many people know about this thing yet. Recently From Software shut down the Demon Souls servers. So officially, that is all done. But apparently, the web traffic that your PS3 sent to those servers before it went down was not encrypted, or it was encrypted, but it wasn't like secured. And so, like some people were able to capture that traffic and like decode it and all this and figured out, we can replicate all the functionality of the official servers on our own.
We built it. We have the technology.
And so a guy on Reddit, basically like released the code and was like, this is it. Like you can make your own Demon Soul servers. And he sort of has one, or he or she has one, a server that's running as sort of a demonstration. And then someone else was like, I'm going to run a permanent server so that people can play Demon Souls as it was meant to be played again. And so if you're interested in that, it's like it's on Reddit somewhere. The guy's name, or the permanent server's username is that's not a U. YUVI. UV? UV. Yeah. Search it. I don't know how Reddit works. Somehow.
Why haven't these people moved on to like the Dark Souls games at this point? Is my question.
I
But
guess they're
teach his
just like
own,
a
man.
little bit different, I guess.
No, Tropical. No. You don't play garbage when you have wonderfulness at your disposal.
All right then.
Although, don't get me wrong, I did enjoy Demon Souls, though. I'm just saying. It's like, if you have access to it, why would you play the old stuff instead of the sexy new stuff?
Speaking of playing the old stuff and not the sexy new stuff, the games that the Xbox whatever was talking about last week, they finally announced. And I gotta say, I mean, they're good games, but they aren't changing my mind on buying an Xbox One. So I don't know what the whole whatever. I guess when that's all you got, I guess that's all you got. Whatever. So I guess we'll see if they got anything else. Oh, it's
Wait,
actually
what
on.
were the games? I don't.
Uh,
Did I miss
it
this? I
was
think I might have missed this.
it was backwards compatibility stuff. So there's like Blinks, the Time Cat or whatever.
Oh my god, I love
Oh.
Links to Time Cat.
Battlefront 2, the original, but you can't play online because there's no Xbox Live or an Xbox One. So it's like I don't even know why you even care, whatever. So that Star Wars: The Force Unleashed. I mean, there's some 360 stuff too. Red Dead Redemption, because gamers are like, oh man, Red Dead Redemption, the screenshots at 4K, it's so amazing. I'm gonna do Xbox One X. It's like gamer. I mean, I didn't even try to talk about it. I'm just like, whatever, gamer. That's like. He had his
Doesn't
whole like.
he have
He
one?
had his whole like talk.
I just wanted to
he had-
say, he already has one,
he
doesn't
already
he?
like he already had like his like whole like walked back his points of like, oh, I'm not buying any games this year like he said last year, and I totally was right because like he totally like talked about it. He's like, oh, I'm not a change man anymore. I'm not gonna say that anymore because I'm just buying games to have fun or whatever. So it's like, yeah, clearly a gamer is just never gonna fix that problem he has. What else
It's an
was
intervention.
there? There was Panzer Orda was one of them on Xbox One. Oh, and then like
Ooh.
Sith Lords, Knights of the Republic 2. Yeah, Knights of the Republic 2. There's Conquer, I think, is on there. Bad for a Day, so that's on there too. There's some other crap, but I'm not gonna look it up right now because yeah. I mean, you can look it up yourself. It's whatever. It's not gonna change your mind. I mean, I saw the list and I was like, well, if the Xbox One X was like $249, I might just because I don't have some. I mean, I have most of those games. I don't have all those games though, 'cause I don't have Conquer, and I would like to play that. So, it was on the Virtual Console, so because Rare, they sold them. So,
Just get a Switch.
I mean, I guess I could just like try to find a used copy. Like pretty easy too. So, yeah.
Just get a Switch.
Why would I get a Switch RPG?
Cause it's going to be awesome.
I'll wait
Everything
for
about it is
the
awesome.
Price drop and the hardware revision to where it doesn't have like no hardware space when you buy digital games. Since I buy digital games, so
What? Nintendo usually doesn't do the revisions like these other two guys do. So I mean,
they need to learn how to play, or they need to learn how to like exist in the now time and not the 10 years ago time. Okay.
they do it for like the handhelds, but that's about it. I mean, the home console, they seem like they're pretty happy with their product, so they usually don't do that extra stuff.
Well,
They're
when
just like,
that
"Oh,
year
look at
over
this."
year units of hardware sold is like precipitously falling, or if it does, they'll know why, and maybe.
I mean, I guess, but I'm sure they're happy now.
We'll see how long it lasts. We'll see how long it lasts.
I just hope there's an SMT bundle so I can just buy it and call it a day. If and when it comes out, anyway. SMT.
I'm trying to think what that thing was called. It's like Xbox something something. Inside Xbox, that's what it's called. So it's like a weekly
Wow,
show thing
Chico.
they do.
Wow.
RPG. So yeah, that's what they showed. It's back. Bunch of backwards compatibility games. I mean, not that there's anything like that's on Xbox One X or Xbox One, but if you like playing old games on old consoles, there you go.
Who doesn't? Everybody. But still, there might be some people out there who love their old console stuff. I know I do.
Well, I do too. I'm just saying it's like not what I would lead with if I was trying to sell current generation hardware that plays current generation games. that are not games that are made not this current console generation. Just saying. Just throw that out there.
Hmm.
Oh man, E3 is in like 2 months. Can't wait. Cannot wait.
I can't wait either. I'm excited. Come on, E3. Get inside.
Just gotta make it through May, and then June will be right there.
Oot.
So do you have any more news, or?
Nope, that was last of my news.
Oh no.
It had to run out sometime.
Or did it? You can make fake news. It's the kind of timeline we're in, so, you know.
Alright.
So
Sign
yeah,
off.
I guess that's it for this episode of Aimless Babble Z. Check us out, Aimless Podcast. Well, actually, Aimless Babble Z on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, wherever that else, because aimlesspodcast.com actually isn't
Oh my.
really somewhere you want to go right
Such
now.
language.
Kind of not in working order. Right, Optical? Right?
Yep.
Anything to say before you sign off, RPG?
Hmm.
Oh.
I like video
Wild
games.
Arms! Woo! Wild Arms 3 is
Oh.
on PS4, PSN store, I think. On PS2, so
I still have the hard copy.
I'm just saying, for anybody that hasn't played out there, that's like, I haven't played RPGs, talking about, yeah. Want some Wild Arms in
Wild
my
Arms
life.
3 is probably one of the best ones in the series, though, so if you haven't played it, enjoy.
Anything to say before you sign off, Optical?
Nope, I'm good.
Alright. Well, I did actually end up getting that Twitch Prime. So I'm on like 30-day trial, and I got DMC
Ooh.
free. Or not DMC, Devil May Cry, the HD trilogy. There's a bunch of other free games. I know, it's like 5 free games a month, dude. I couldn't say no. And then like, you know, my YouTube revenue is like enough to where it's like, I can cover this. So I was like, doing it. And it's like, you know, I might not be 100 there yet, but eventually I could be. And then
100
yeah, I would add a totally Crunchyroll subscription to that thing of like stuff I'm getting a month out of my sweet YouTube revenue. But you know, until then, don't let your dreams be dreams. That's my sign off. So yeah, Aimless Babble Z. Until you see or hear from us again, we're now signing off. If I can do it, you can do it.
Think
Or not.
about you,
We'll
I
see.
touch myself.